is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all the video. We're going to talk about the San Antonio Spurs, a team that just lost 5 straight games. And it really has destroyed their record. They got off to a beautiful start. But one thing I noticed that's not like the Spurs is just they're losing to teams that they should be able to beat. I know San Antonio isn't the greatest team. I know they don't have a superstar. I know they're not legitimate championship contenders right now as we speak, as this video is being made. But I'm just so shocked that they have dropped the games that they have dropped. When you look at it, Portland has been struggling. Orlando has been struggling. Minnesota has been struggling. Well, they've been hotter than the other teams, but they are definitely a team that's in the playoffs right now. But I'm saying Memphis, Orlando, Portland, you lose to a team like Atlanta without John Collins, I believe that's unacceptable. But I understand that they lost against the Lakers. I understand they lost against the Clippers in Boston. But these are games that the Spurs usually win. They usually feast on the worst teams in the NBA and just outsmart them, out execute them, and get quality shot selection. And that's very important when you want to be a playoff team in the West that's so loaded that a 5-game winning streak can really take you out of the playoff race. They went from being in the top 3, top 4, all the way out of the run to you got to be above 500 right now to be in the playoffs in the West. And it's just going to be tough for them to literally string along W's. They barely made it to the playoffs last year. And even though they did get guys like Lonnie Walker back healthy and DeJounte Murray, their offense just hasn't been as beautiful. They have inconsistency scoring the basketball. But most importantly, their defense ain't what I thought it would be. LaMarcus Aldridge lost a step. DeMar DeRozan has never been known as a defender. I understand that Derek White and DeJounte Murray are quality defenders when they are on the court, but they still have to build that chemistry. They still have to find other ways to play defense when they have guys like Forbes and Patty Mills out there that can be liabilities depending on who's a shooting guard and who's guarding Patty or who they trying to force him to guard. So when I'm looking at San Antonio, I'm looking like, wow, they got off to a great start, and it looked like, okay, it's the Spurs. They're going to continue to do what the Spurs do, and that's win games. But it's tough now. Every team in the entire NBA is competitive. I just made a video about the Charlotte Hornets. They're going out there fighting. They're going out there closing and winning games that they shouldn't even be winning. Even if you look at Phoenix, that's a team that most of us thought was going to be trash. Most of us thought wouldn't even win 25 to 30 games. And the people who did, that's not even a playoff record. That means they're a bad team. They're going to be a lottery team, and they have been impressive. You look at a team like Mavericks, a lot of people didn't really know how good they was going to be because we didn't know what Porzingis was going to look like. And honestly, he hasn't looked that well, and they still have a better record than the Spurs because they don't have that franchise guy that can literally take over, close games, and make a big difference on both ends. And they lost Kawhi Leonard. And he wouldn't make that much of a difference because he's still low management. They will be in the playoff race right now if he was healthy on their team. But can you really rely on this team without DeMar DeRozan because you traded Kawhi Leonard to get DeMar, and he hasn't been able to get you to the playoffs so far when it comes to these 5-game losing streak. But also, Kawhi Leonard wouldn't be able to play all the games. So I don't really know what they can do as a collection, as a team that can really step this team to being a title contender. There is no available superstars that's traded right now, unless they can do a trade that we don't see coming. I don't really see any glaring weaknesses that they need. I think they have enough shooting. I think they have enough ball handlers. I think they have a good system. It just don't have that elite level talent that can carry them night in and night out, or at least get them a quality shot, or at least take over a game that they should lose like they usually do. They usually play team basketball. They usually make sure everybody touching the ball and everybody moving the ball, but also communicate on the defensive end. And you can look at it like they was doing that. They just couldn't close these games, and that's the problem. These are the games that you have to win if you want to be a 40 to low 50 win team. You have to beat these teams. And I'm looking at San Antonio and I see them going out there competing. It's not like they're getting blew out. It's not like they're getting embarrassed, but these are the type of games that they usually win. They usually outscore the opponent or they just hold them to an ugly game and just get some good possessions going and hold on to a 6 to 7 point lead. And that hasn't been the case this year just because they don't have enough offensive firepower, in my personal opinion. They have a lot of players that know their roles and know their skills and don't try to be more than that. But at the same time, that's not enough right now in the NBA. I'm not saying that the Spurs are going to miss the playoffs. I'm not saying that they should panic. I'm just saying this is not a good sign when you lose 5 straight games, and most of these games are teams in you should beat. And especially because when you look at the Spurs team, they have one of the deepest rosters, in my personal opinion. Even though they have some veterans, they have a mix of young players. They got a lot of guys that want to prove it to each other. I think you can slice a little bit of that depth and sacrifice it to get a player that can really take you to that next level. Because the Spurs right now just look like they don't have enough. They don't have enough fight. They don't have enough belief. I think they go out there and compete. I think they try to get the best out of each other, but it's just something missing with this team, and it's obvious, and it just has been clouding them even last year. Like I said, they was fighting just to make it to the playoffs last year, and they did a hell of a job. Like I always give them credit against Denver, but they still lost that series in the first round. This team is far away from being a championship contender, and even though the Spurs fans love my videos and they always give me high views, I still got to give y'all that real analysis and let y'all guys know this isn't looking good. And it's not just because they lost 5, it's just the way they're losing and winning games. They don't look good. They don't look dominant. They don't look Spursy enough. And maybe it's because they went for a lot more isolation scores. Maybe it's because they don't have enough guys that can really knock down shots consistently. Maybe it's just because LaMarcus and DeMar, they're just not what they used to be. And you can make an argument for that, honestly and truthfully. But I think they have enough talent to be a 6 seed at the highest. And I can still see them going there depending on how they close out their games. Because when you look at their schedule, they got Dallas, but they also got Washington, they got New York. And those are going to be the games that they're going to have to win. But they also got Philly. They also got the Lakers and Minnesota and the Clippers. So can this stretch really determine if this team is going to make it to the playoffs? And this is a team that's lost 5 straight and have a tough schedule coming up. And the next game is going to be Dallas after today. So that's not going to be easy. So if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm a little optimistic. I'm looking at this roster. I'm looking at this team. I'm looking at Pop. I'm like, y'all going on a 5 game losing streak and y'all going on a stretch that's going to be even tougher than the 5 games y'all just played. How are you going to close and win these games? How are you going to pull these guys together and let them know they have to step their game up or they're going to be on the outside looking in? It's going to be difficult for this team to pull off a massive win streak that can really give them that thump. Really can give them that push to, get it back in the playoffs and have a spot there. Even if they play 500 basketball, that won't be enough on this 10-game trip. So if I'm a Spurs fan, I'm worried. But let me know what you guys think at the end of the day. Do you think this is the end of the Spurs run? They did it for 2 decades, making the playoffs. They missed a 50 win a couple of seasons, and it looks like they're not on pace to win 50 this season. Do you know a player that's available? Do you know a team that should shake up? A player that they should shake up or try for? Do you think that there's nothing that they can really do? They do have some young talent. They do have their picks, and they do draft well. So looking at it from that perspective, should they blow it up? Should they continue to see what they got? Or should they just try to stay pat until a superstar become available and send a package? Or even trade DeRozan, who is going to be eligible for extension, just like LaMarcus. And if they do lose DeMarcus, they might as well get rid of DeRozan too, because they might as well rebuild. Or do you think this team is going to be able to get a big name free agent and, retool on the fly and turn this team back into a championship contender where they haven't been since they traded Kawhi Leonard? This is the impact. Kawhi Leonard goes to Toronto, wins the title, and San Antonio barely makes it, and they're struggling to compete on a game-to-game basis against any team, and that's not a good recipe for success. And I'm just surprised that a Greg Popovich team is struggling like this. And they missed the playoffs for a couple of weeks last year, but they was able to get it right. This is just ridiculous that they could dig themselves in a hole that they might not be able to get out of. And that's going to be the painful thing for the Spurs fans who has been so spoiled over the years of so much success and having a team that can continue to become a dynasty. This team is finally showing the weakness. It's a glaring weakness, and it might be a weakness that other teams sees and want to expose. And if that's the case, this team might be going bye-bye and chilling and with their friends and their family on the sofa watching the playoffs just like everybody else. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is the Spurs run over? Is this the season that they missed the playoffs? Or do you think they can get it right? Or do you think that they just need a little 3 to 4 game winning streak, lose a couple of games here and there, and just keep grinding out the W's like they usually do? Or will they finally succumb to the end? Time heals all, but time is also undefeated. They're going to miss the playoffs eventually. We know it. Everybody knows it. This might be the year. Like this video, check out my older videos on my channel. I have many playlists. I break down rookies. I break down players. I break down summer league. I do cover the draft, and I got a mock draft up already. Not only that, I do podcasts, and I also talk about the game of basketball, whether it comes to summer league, free agency, trade deadline, buyouts, and also I cover top 10 discussions and stuff like that. So you like this type of video, you like the NBA, check out my older videos and my playlists. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching.